So I didn't want to bust nobody out. I felt like it, but I didn't want no problem. So I'm grocery shopping, doing all my errands, getting ready to go to work this week, which some of y'all need to take some lessons and learn how to do. And I'm at the grocery store, and it's this family in front of me, can't speak a lick of English. And the food stamps that they had was incredible. I could not believe the food stamps these people had was incredible. And then when we got out to the parking lot, these motherfuckers are getting into a Cadillac Escalade. The fraud is real. All the kids got little Nikes on or Vans, dressing hella good. And these fools had, and their grocery bill was like $700, and they just swiped with no problem.
You know, sometimes you have to learn the hard way that your vote has consequence. This fraud that this amazing American citizen witnessed, hardworking, she has a job. You heard her in the video. The fraud that's happening in Minnesota by mentally Ilhan Omar and the Somalis under Tim Walz's watch, which I'm going to show you some clips. And then wait till you hear what our 48th president, yes, I'm calling it right now, our 48th president, JD Vance, enters the fray of the Somali Tim Walz fraud extravaganza. Ilhan Omar actually goes onto the woke media apparatus to defend this. There are some reports, my fellow Americans, this is like so symbolic of what the Biden-Kamala regime, what the great replacement theory, what identity politics, DEI woke ideologies, anti-American, anti-constitutional, pure and unadulterated pillaging of our taxpayer dollars, of our resources that should be going to Americans. This is what it's all about. There are some reports. It was initially reported that this fraud under Tim Walz's watch by the Somalis in Minnesota was like $1 billion. It's now reaching over $3 billion. And this insipid cockroach actually has the audacity to foment a whole new violence campaign against conservatives, against Trump, against Stephen Miller on national live television at the aid and abetting of the woke media apparatus. I'm going to share with you a few clips, but in one of those clips, she uses the infamous moniker that has caused so much stoking the flames of violence, mayhem, and chaos that is indirectly or directly related to the brutal murder and assassination of Charlie Kirk, the attempted assassination of President Trump, and the doxing and violent attacks on people who are just exercising their freedom of speech. I've got so much to share with you today. Grab your favorite snack, your favorite beverage, sit back, relax. Your boy Dez is going to take care of everything. First, check this out.
There are 80,000 people of Somali descent in your state, but the president has been very focused, not just on them, but on you. In this extraordinary cabinet meeting, he said Somalis, quote, come from hell. They complain and they do nothing but bitch. Take a listen.
These are people that do nothing but complain. They complain. And from where they came from, they got nothing. We don't want them in our country. Let them go back to where they came from and fix it. Thank you very much, everybody.
That knocking is vehement agreement from his cabinet members there. I just wonder what the reaction is in your district to have that from the highest office in the land.
It's disgusting.
Margaret Brennan is such an absolute degradation to everything honest, ethical, straightforward, and of quality in the history of our entire country. She is such a perfect embodiment of this absolutely despicable, deceptive, lying media. Stephanie Rule in this roundtable, who's from MSNBC, actually had the audacity, the temerity to look Andrew Schultz and other independent media like myself in the eye and say, I dare you to come to our show and not think that it's very, very open and broad-minded. Like just thinking that we're idiots These are the same people that said Kamala was qualified, that Biden was mentally fit, the same people that promoted and advocated the worst pejoratives you could ever usher onto another human being. And now, this Margaret Brennan, that knocking is a vehement agreeance. Cut, editorialized. He didn't say they come from hell. He said where they come from is hell. It's so insidious. And now this mentally Ilhan Omar has the audacity to say it's disgusting. Well, you didn't say it was disgusting when Biden called over half the country the very same pejorative and term garbage. Where was your dissension there? Where was your outrage then? Then when asked about the possibility that some of this defrauded money is going to terrorists, she actually laughs. Watch.
House Republicans and the Treasury Secretary just now talked about a link to terrorism, a possible link. He said they're just now beginning to look into it. How confident are you that that's a false claim?
I'm pretty confident at the moment because there are people who have been prosecuted and who have been sentenced. If there was a linkage in that the money that they have stolen going to terrorism, then that is a failure of the FBI and our court system in not figuring that out and basically charging them with these charges.
How is this funny? Am I the only one that's just completely flabbergasted, right? How is any of this funny? You stole from hardworking Americans. Obama, Biden, and Kamala imported over 100,000, if not hundreds of thousands, of these migrants, dumped them in Minnesota. It's the only way that you were elected, literally the only way that you were elected. God knows how Crockett and Presley and MacIver and Klingon Waters and all these other absolute degradation ghouls were elected, probably from cheating. How is that funny? Why the giggles? I don't get it. Am I missing something? Let me know in the comments. And here she is right here. She's actually defaming Stephen Miller, who's Jewish, as, you guessed it, their number one go-to playbook term, a Nazi. Watch.
Said the architect of the president's immigration policy, Stephen Miller, said, on Thanksgiving Day, he posted, "No magic transformation occurs when failed states cross borders. At scale, migrants and their descendants recreate the conditions and terrors of their broken homelands." What do you make of this argument of failure to assimilate and sort of ruining America? How do you understand this?
I mean, when I think about Stephen Miller and his white supremacist rhetoric, it reminds me of the way the Nazis described Jewish people in Germany.
Absolutely zero pushback. You're comparing enforcing immigration law, investigating billions of dollars of fraud that has been proven, I did a previous video of this, that some of that money had been funneled to actual terrorist organizations. And you're comparing the pursuit of truth. You're comparing the President of the United States, calling it and telling it like it is. You're comparing that to Nazi Germany. After Charlie Kirk was assassinated, after President Trump had multiple assassination attempts, after we just had two national heroes just doing their job in Washington, D.C., brutally attacked, and one of them lost their life, Sarah Beckstrom, may God rest her soul. And now you've got, I'm going to share with you what happened at Tim Pool's house, because this affects me. But I want to share this first. Minnesota, shame on you, mentally Ilhan Omar, shame on you. Minnesota staff fraud reporting commentary. This is one of the most famous. This is Minnesota Department of Human Services employee account. They've been banned. They've been completely suppressed and censored by Tim Walz in every other medium. They've now taken to X. This is the hottest X account out there. Minnesota state leaders, this is what they said recently. Minnesota state leaders have defrauded the entire nation. This is huge. Medicaid fraud causes loss to the nation as a whole as the federal government reimburses Minnesota for Medicaid services. In addition to Medicaid programs, especially the waivers, Minnesota state government has committed massive fraud via federal block grants, all under Tim Walz's watch. Therefore, the federal government is right to cut funding off to Minnesota leaders. This is my favorite line. The entire United States has been defrauded by fraud in Minnesota. And that citizen that I just shared with you in the beginning of this video, there's hundreds of videos like that. America is finally waking up. And this ghoul, this individual who hates America, who makes it clear and abundantly, transparently known every time she speaks that she hates America, whose agenda is to literally, there's multiple accounts of this. I mean, this is just my theory. This isn't like cemented in stone, but it's, I give it all my, I put my personal reputation on the line. Their only agenda is to take over. Their only agenda is to inject their custom traditions. They don't want to assimilate. They don't like America. They hate America. Look at their own country. Trump was right about everything. Then you have the audacity to say and use the same violent rhetoric that has caused so much violence in our country as of late. This gentleman right here, gentleman, I don't know why I call him a gentleman. I was raised right, so, that's why I use the word, even though he's not. This is the guy who went after Matt Walsh and many other conservatives, knocking on every single neighbor's door, demanding the whereabouts of podcasters, commentators, and pundits and content creators like myself, threatening their lives. And he fled police. Police still don't know where this guy is. This guy could still be out there. God forbid he comes to anybody, my personal friends. And then this happened last night. A lot of you guys know who Tim Pool is. Prominent commentator. Former Democrat, by the way. Posted this just last night saying, last night a vehicle approached our property and opened fire. No one was hurt. Our security team is reviewing the incident and will be relaying the report to appropriate law enforcement. This is the price we pay for speaking out against evil. This is a Democrat, by the way. Tim Pool was a former Democrat. He might be like more like me, who's a centrist. I'm not right or left. If I had to define myself, I would say that I'm a constitutional centrist. But this guy's not even a Republican. He's not even really a Trumpster. As a matter of fact, he criticizes Trump on more than one occasion. They're going after him, and you have the audacity. So what you have here, ladies and gentlemen, they can't win on actual strategies. They can't win on their actual track record. They can't win on actual achievements. They can't win on any solutions. You got Mamdani now saying he's going to end all homeless encampment sweeps. And now he's saying he's not going to cooperate just minutes after kissing Trump's ass. Now he says, no, we're not going to do that. We're not going to help ICE. He's actually helping criminals in NYC. They can't win on anything. They can't win on any kind of offering or contribution to our great, beautiful republic, these United States of America. So what do they have? Fear, dread, demagoguery, lies, deceit, fomentation of violence, mayhem, chaos. That's why you see every blue run state, every blue run city is in absolute chaos. I wonder if there's just anybody in this cabal that says, wait a minute, guys, maybe we should try something else. I mean, Fetterman, who's probably not even really a Democrat anymore, he's maybe not the best example, but is there anybody in your entire cult cabal institution that just says, wait a minute, guys, stop. They just killed Charlie Kirk. The ink on the death certificate of Sarah Beckstrom isn't even dry yet. We almost killed the future president of the United States. We've got people showing up at these guys' houses, shooting them up. Maybe we should try something else. Nope. Send Ilhan onto our favorite woke network and let her just tee it up for her to call them Nazis and do the same exact old, disgusting, evil song ad infinitum, ad nauseum. This is a sickness. This cult called the Democrats is an absolute terrorist organization. It should be deemed that officially, who hates America and wants Americans to fight each other and wants Americans to fear each other and wants Americans to fight imagine a mentality. Imagine the amount of pollution swimming in your cranium where you protest safe streets and you fight for actual cartel members looking to bring poison into our country. What kind of pollution needs to happen in there? This is disgusting. If you don't think we're in the midst of a civil war, maybe not physically, but psychologically, my friends, ladies and gentlemen, my fellow Americans, we're in the midst of a civil war. Who knows? Maybe even one that is more detrimental than we've ever seen before. Which now takes me to our great vice president, the future president, God willing, of these United States of America, JD Vance, who has entered the fray on this massive fraud and criminal organization that's happening under Tim Walz's watch in Minnesota. Here's a quick clip of an interview that he just gave, as well as, I'm going to share with you, he posted, retweeted, you could say, a citizen, a construction business owner in New Orleans, in Louisiana, talking about the ICE raids and how it's benefited his business. Make sure you come on back. Watch.
You cannot have a country where the American people keep on electing immigration enforcement and the courts tell the American people they're not allowed to have what they voted for. And that's where we are right now. We're going to keep working it through the immigration court process, through the Supreme Court as much as possible. And look, success to me is not so much a number, though obviously I'd love to see the gross majority of the illegal immigrants who came in under Biden deported. That actually is a secondary metric of success. Success to me is that we have established a set of rules and principles that the courts are comfortable with and that we have the infrastructure to do that allows us to deport large numbers of illegal aliens when large numbers of illegal aliens come into the country. That to me is real success.
God, I love it every time he speaks. He just makes me so proud. He's just speaking common sense, dude. It's nothing supernatural. He also posted this, which I think is so powerful, in direct relation to the Somalis and the fraud and the entire operation to heal our country. JD Vance posted this. Mass migration is theft of the American dream. It has always been this way, and every position paper, think tank piece, and econometric study suggesting otherwise is paid for by the people getting rich off the old system. And he reposted this construction company owner who's seeing a difference ever since ICE has been in Louisiana. Watch this.
So we've had ICE and DHS down in Louisiana for about a week now. And as a business owner, I've been running my own construction company since I was 18 years old. I'm 27 now. We do painting, roofing, drywall, tile, ceramics, trim, molding, carpentry, flooring, concrete, a little bit of everything. I'm seeing firsthand just the shockwave them boys are sending across the state. No immigrants want to go to work. None of them want to even ride in a truck like mine with a ladder rack on it. And it is so amazing. I've gotten more calls in the last week than I've gotten in the last 3 months. I got 20 calls in one day. GC scrambling to try and finish projects. Halfway through, these guys not showing up to work. Starting projects. Landlords, you know how a landlord always has, their go-to guy they call. The boys ain't showing up to do nothing. And this just shows you how bad the problem is down here in Louisiana. I mean, we got a population in our whole state that's like the size of LA County. Genuinely, in our whole state. And they have filled this place like no other. And I've got to see through the presidencies. We had our little heyday with Trump's first go-round, 99 cents a gallon gas. Even with the immigrants here, shit was still amazing. They weren't pushing like they are right now. Joe Biden got into office, he really f***ed my industry. Bad.
American citizens working their butts off, following the American dream. Can you imagine how bad it would be if Kamala had won? I mean, that's straight from the mouth of a local business owner, not from a politician. Although I don't call Trump and Vance. To me, I've said this before, that Trump has revolutionized the political landscape. We've never seen anything like this. The only thing that comes close, in my view, not in my lifetime, there's nothing been in my lifetime that's anything come close, but the only thing that's come close in modern presidential history is my favorite president of all time, Theodore Roosevelt. since Trump. It was Theodore Roosevelt. So that's the closest I've seen to somebody who actually tells it like it is, somebody who actually gets things done, somebody who actually is a go-getter, a man in the arena executing on behalf of the American people, as he's proven, because action is louder than words. There is a reason why I thank God every single day that you, America, made the right choice on November 5th, 2024. And we need to make the right choice in the midterms, and we need to make the right choice in 2028. And I think JD Vance, I can't think of anything better. Barring some kind of miracle or barring some kind of tragedy, God forbid, he is our guy for number 48. He's going to carry the torch beautifully and take America, keep that America in the golden age. I can't wait to get your thoughts on this and everything else that we talked about. You're not going to see this on woke media, ABC, CBS, NBC, CNN. So you need to share this. Tap the thumbs up. Help us make common sense go viral so our grandkids' grandchildren can wake up in an America that makes sense, that's recognizable. Thank you so much. Check out these videos too, coming up on the screen just in case you missed them. Tap my face right there to subscribe and follow. It's absolutely free. Turn on all notifications so you don't miss out. And as always, may God bless you, and may God bless the USA and all who defend her. I'll see you soon.